Welcome back to the Molloy Twins Podcast. And before we get into today's episode, we'd just like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Website for Trades.
Websites for Trades is a business that's set up by Clondalkin local Luke Corrigan and aims to provide affordable but profitable services focused on websites, logos, marketing, social media and videography. It's for tradespeople around Ireland looking to get ahead online. And if you'd like to find out more about the business, you can find them through www.websitesfortrades.ie or on Instagram.
And if you're not a tradesperson, but you would still like to avail of these services, then Luke still has you covered, because he also runs serodigital.io, which is a more general agency that can help you with all of the above. You can find them out at www.serodigital.io or on Instagram. Everything will be linked in the description.
Welcome back to the Molloy Twins Podcast, and today we're joined by one of the rising stars of Irish football. He made his league debut for St. Pat's as a 15-year-old and spent 3 very successful seasons at Richmond Road, ended last season with an FAI Cup and the PFAI Young Player of the Year award. In January then, he made the move across the water to sign for Sheffield United, and in May just gone, he fulfilled a childhood dream of many young men around the world and made his Premier League debut. And it's a pleasure to have him here today to chat about his career so far, his progress, what his goals are for the future, and also some lessons that he can share for anyone watching looking to achieve goals and dreams on or off the pitch. So, Sam Course, thank you for coming on.
Cheers, lads. Thanks for having me.
Firstly, I know it's the start of your pre-season, technically, or off-season, sorry, you just finished up the Premier League. Any big plans for the next couple of weeks? Will you get a break, or will it be keeping things ticking over?
Right now, I'm like just kind of switching off. I definitely, because obviously when I came in, it was all guns blazing.
Because you had just finished the Irish season, really, and then got straight into it.
Yeah, literally straight in, because obviously I was going to get a deal done eventually. Yeah. But I needed to weigh up some options and stuff, but I was training because I knew I had to be fit going into whatever team I was going into. So yeah, now I'm just going to switch off for maybe a week or two. I'm going away now on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to that. But then obviously when I come back from that, it's all guns blazing, get myself back fit, and I want to be flying going back into pre-season, give myself the best chance.
Quality, man. Any plans for the pre-season? Are you heading away with?
I'm going away with, on the off season we're going away with Ireland now soon, and then I think pre-season with Sheffield, I think we could be going to Austria. I'm not sure now. It hasn't been confirmed yet. But hasn't been confirmed yet. But I'm waiting to find out confirmation. But I don't know, like wherever it is anyway. It's going to be tough anyway. Either way,
it won't be enjoyable.
Deadly. We like to kick off with a little bit of quick fire just to get things going.
Yeah.
So I'll start off nice and easy. As a kid growing up, who was your football hero?
I have to say Ronaldo.
Yeah,
100% Ronaldo.
Yeah. A United fan?
No, Arsenal.
Really?
Yeah.
A Ronaldo fan?
Arsenal, yeah.
Nice. Second question. Who's one coach that you would love to play under?
I'd say Arteta, being an Arsenal fan, to be honest. I know it's a bit cliche, but I just think he gets the best out of players, to be honest. And I think he'd be good to work under,
Yeah, fair. For you, is there any player, it doesn't have to be a right back, who you would kind of model your game off or you'd look to as an inspiration?
You know what, I always said Reece James. I said it in an interview before, to be fair, because you know what, I think he has everything. I think, like, you see Trent, and obviously there is weaknesses. He's an unbelievable playmaker and stuff, but obviously, you know, as everyone talks, the defensive side, and then Kyle Walker as well. He's kind of, you know, the way they have their main attributes, and they're excellent at them. But I think Reece James has the going forward. He has the strength. He has the pace. He has the one-on-one defending. I think he kind of has everything. Can play in the middle of the park. I just think he's an all-round proper player. So I always looked up to him now, I have to say.
Deadly.
Great answer. Is there one stadium anywhere in the world that you're looking forward to playing in?
Looking forward to, I don't know, hoping for the Bernabeu one day, 100%. But I'll say looking forward to it, because you have to be confident, but I'd say the Bernabeu,
Nice. Quality, Sheffield United taking on Real in a Champions League semi-final at some stage.
That's the plan, man, hopefully.
2026.
We go for it. For you as a kid growing up, was it always football that you wanted to do, or was there anything else?
Yeah, no, 100%. From like the moment I could run and walk, it was kicking ball. Like my dad, I have 3 brothers, so my dad had us all kicking ball from early, and football was always the focus. 100%. It was never really going to be anything else for me personally. Like,
anymore? No more quick fire.
I have one that I want to share.
Okay, go for it.
Not quite a quick fire, but Jamie Carragher has a famous quote. Well, lots of famous quotes,
Yeah.
but one in particular, he says, nobody grows up wanting to be a right back. If you're a right back, you're either a failed centre back or a failed centre mid.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be a Gary Neville.
Yeah.
For you, were you a failed centre mid or a centre back?
I wouldn't say I was a failed centre back. Probably more so to do with my height and stuff. And to be fair, I like playing right back more, so I'm happy the way it went. But I'd like to say I could still play centre back if needs be, to be honest. But yeah, it's true with the right back team. I used to be a striker as well back in the Kevin's days and stuff. So yeah, true statement by Carragher, man.
Yeah.
Your dad was coach at Park Villa, right? In saying that,
Yeah, 100%.
and was he your underage coach or your brother's underage coach?
both of ours. So I always, the whole way up, I always played with Ben.
And what's the age gap between you two?
So it's just a year because
Okay.
I'm 05 and he's 04. It's just under 2 years because I'm late in the year and he's quite early. But it's only the year in football, like.
Nice.
Yeah.
So 2 years. So you always played up a year, just to be
Yeah,
on
just
the same
up the
team?
year the whole time. Yeah, always.
Nice. And was he the better footballer growing up?
I'd have to say yeah. To be honest, I'd have to say yeah. You'd always get the player of the years and all and everything. But you know what? He was a player. Like he used to be a midfielder. Obviously, when he just finished, he was a centre back before he finished. But yeah, he was a player. Like I'd say he would be the better of the two of us. To be honest, now speaking truthfully.
When did you feel the shift or the change between the two of you to say, all right, Sam's the one now who's stepping on?
I don't think like it was an exact moment. I think it kind of just gradually happened. Like, don't get me wrong, Ben always worked hard and he was an excellent footballer and I'm sure he still could be if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But like I think it was just a gradual thing. I think like little things you could see that I kind of probably wanted it more than he did, and I think I kind of seen it in my plans and seen it in my future more than he did. And I think when you know for a fact it's for you, it's easier to work and craft. But when you're kind of on the fence with it,
Yeah.
it's hard. So I think he kind of was gradually pulling away from it. And obviously I was doing the extra work and stuff like that, which obviously helped me to kind of, I don't want to say surpass, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Get to that next level.
Yeah, exactly.
So you strike me as a very confident character, and even in the interviews and stuff I've watched, you've always sort of been ambitious, but not in an arrogant way. Like you've always sort of known there was a lot of work to do, but you didn't really doubt that you were incapable of doing it.
Yeah.
You mentioned off camera about like experiences playing for underage teams where you weren't getting your game or certain managers didn't like you.
Yeah.
Did that confidence ever leave, or has that always been there?
No, it's always been there. Like I think even now making the move across to England, like coming from Ireland, I'd like to say I was probably one of the best players in the league in my opinion. And going to England, it's hard. Like it is hard because you're not that player anymore. You have to do it all again.
Yeah.
So it is hard, but I think it's always important that the confidence stays, because genuinely, I think everyone can speak for me that our footballers, like confidence is definitely the biggest thing in football for me. I think a player with no confidence isn't a player with playing at his full ability.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Even we've had like UFC fighters on the podcast and business people, and they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as the self-doubt starts creeping in and you start listening to that voice, your performance immediately goes down.
I've had times, to be fair, where it nearly gets in, but I think like I just kind of put the foot down and close the door on it then, and like I know how good I am and I know how good I can be, so it's always there and it's always been a thing for me since young. Like,
yeah, would you be the kind of player like after a bad performance or you make a mistake in the game, would you be dwelling on stuff, or?
I definitely assess it. Like I'd assess it after the game. I definitely wouldn't dwell on it. I think you do have to assess it and see what you've done wrong and learn how to like correct them imperfections. Like, but no, I wouldn't dwell on it. I'd look through it, correct it if I can, and then put it past me then and move on to the next, because you can't dwell on stuff like that, because if you do, the same mistake could end up happening again. And I think in football, when the same mistakes happen over and over again, then managers and people are starting to ask questions. So it's perfectly fine to make mistakes, but the same one over and over again isn't ideal. So I think it's very important you don't dwell on stuff like that.
Yeah, good answer.
Big time. You were 15 when you made your Pats debut.
Yeah.
That's so young. We have a little brother who's 15.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that chap.
Tying the shoelace.
Yeah,
never
never
mind.
mind. Making a debut. He's a Pats fan, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
But what do you think it was, firstly, for you that at such a young age helped you progress? Because I'm sure there's kids you would have played with who still haven't made their debuts, you know?
Well, like, I was at Rovers before Pats, as you know, and I was 14, and then obviously I was 15 when I left, but I was 14 and I just kept wanting to train with the first team. I seen lads years above me doing it, like one or 2 years above me doing it, and I'm like, I know like I'm as good as these, if not better. Why am I not getting the opportunities? And obviously I know I was young, and I think I forgot that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it is hard to just go up. You're 14. Do you know what I mean? For managers as well, when they see the age. But I think it was the hunger for it. Like, that's obviously why I actually made the move to Pats, because I wasn't getting enough of it at Rovers. And then when I went to Pats in the end, I was guaranteed full-time first team training. So that was like a thing I needed to have to make the next step, and obviously it's paid off now in the end. But I think it's definitely the hunger, just the hunger and the want to do and the want to push on, which will get you a long way in football.
Definitely.
So did you sign as a pro at 15? Was it?
No. So when I first went to Pats, I was 15, so I couldn't sign the pro till I was 16.
Okay.
So I went to Pats at 15, and then as soon as I turned 16, me and my brother joined together. Well, Ben signed the deal. Actually, that's a lie. Ben signed the deal. But when I was 16, and I think he was 17 at the time, we signed 2 pro contracts together.
Unreal.
So yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, great day for the family.
Amazing. Yeah. 2 brothers together.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Unreal. And then what was, I'm putting myself back, me and Lee both played football growing up, and obviously never made it anywhere, hence why we're sitting here.
failed right back, failed everything.
Failed every position, except goalkeeper. I didn't try that one. But for me, and I think I speak for Lee as well on this, going out onto the pitch, doesn't matter who we are playing against or whatever else, I was always shitting myself. Like, proper nervous.
Right.
To a point where almost, it was like, just don't give me the ball. I'd rather like be a passenger in the game,
away,
you know? How did
you
you feel as a 15-year-old stepping up to play like Leave Ireland top level?
It was tough, like, and it is nerve-wracking. I think like nerves are so normal, like, and I think some people forget that, and it's a good thing. It's important you don't let them take over you. But having nerves is definitely a good thing. Like, if you don't have nerves, you're not in the right game. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to feel that about you. But I just think you have to embrace it. Like, you know what I mean? I think you don't get a lot of opportunities in football, and nothing's handed to you. So I think it's knowing what you're going out there to do, and assessing the situation, and just embracing the nerves, and going out there and just doing what you do on the daily, whether it's playing academy football, or you're in training doing well with all these lads. Why can't you go out there and do it on the pitch? So I just think you have to just embrace the nerves and go out, and like, nerves are a good thing. I think people forget that sometimes, but nerves are definitely a good thing. Like,
and see, so you signed your first pro deal at Pats at 16 years old, full-time football. Did you leave school then to just play football?
Yeah, I left school just after third year. I was 16 when I left school, to go to full-time.
Okay, was that like, was your mum pushing you to hold off for a few years? Or?
My mum definitely was. I think my dad knew, not that it needed to happen, but the full-time football was going to benefit me massively. And obviously it did. But obviously I know education's a huge thing as well. So my mum was a bit disheartened. But obviously, seeing the benefits it had to me, she kind of understood it then eventually. But my mum was a bit disheartened with it now, to be honest. But my dad knew the bigger picture, like, and I think so did I. So obviously it's paid off now in the end.
No, for sure. And was there ever any doubts in the back of your own mind, like, okay, I'm all in on football now, if this doesn't work out, what's going to happen?
No, not really. Like, there was never any like plan B or anything. I just knew what I wanted, and it was tunnel vision for football, and it always will be, until obviously I get old and grey like you two boys. But no, I'm only joking. But yeah, it was always tunnel vision. I always just kept a tunnel vision, and I knew I wanted to be a footballer. Obviously I'm a long way from being a established footballer in terms of where I want to go. But I knew what I wanted from a young age, and I don't think that will ever change.
Nice. I actually did notice you mentioned his dad was his manager at Park Villa growing up. What kind of like impact or influence, like how has he helped, I suppose, shape you both as a man but as a player?
Massively. He was our coach, and I remember when we actually made the move from Park Villa, like, I was still very young, Ben, my brother was still very young, and we were so upset that our dad wasn't going to be our manager anymore, and we thought it was the end of the world, because he was actually a great coach. Obviously he was at Park Villa, but he was a great coach, and he knows football, so it was good. And obviously he gave us that extra push as well, because he knew we had it in us, like. But I think then we knew it was time to take the step to Dublin, because obviously Dublin is where the highest, in my opinion, is where the highest level of football in Ireland is. So it was good, and even still to this day, like, I take advice off my dad, because I know he knows football, like, and he definitely has the best interest for me. So it was great having him around, and to give me that extra push, especially when he was my coach at Park Villa.
What was the relation? Would he have been the kind of dad who would, on the way home from a match, be like, "You're doing this wrong"? That was
big time. I didn't care what the manager said. Like,
it was my dad.
Yeah, but obviously my dad was the manager at the time. But even when I went to Kevin's, when I was still young, I didn't really care what the manager said after the game. I was more scared to get in the car with him after.
Yeah.
So if I knew I had a bad game, I'd kind of sit quiet and go into myself a little bit, because I knew.
Well, sit in the booth today.
Yeah, and if your dad doesn't say anything to you, he's fuming.
Yeah.
Like, but he was really, really hard on us, like big time. But I think it did help us 100%, and he meant well.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good.
You mentioned, I think it was an interview you done with, I think it was Pat's after you made your debut. It was either Pat's or with the Ireland under 21 setup, but you were saying that your dad was like, even down to like the food you were eating at home and stuff like that, he was really strict on you.
Oh yeah, big time, like everything. Like I remember when we used to go to train at like Kevin's, Rovers, and even Pat's, maybe not so much Pat's because we were a bit older.
Yeah.
He'd hand me and my brother a litre bottle of water, because we live in Navan.
Yeah.
So he'd hand the litre bottle of water to us as we were going to train, and like, it doesn't even really make sense, but to him it did. And he was like, that has to be finished by the time you get to training. So if we didn't have that litre bottle finished, he'd be fuming us by the time we get to training. Yeah. Hydration's the most important thing, I suppose, but didn't really make sense. But he meant well with it.
Guy's just holding in a piss for the whole
Yeah, I know, bursting.
Getting a stitch and all.
Well, that's unreal. So you had obviously a successful child career, let's call it, young career growing up, obviously getting into then the professional ranks in Ireland.
Yeah.
Coming through at Pats and even just playing in the League of Ireland, like how long did it take for you to, I suppose, feel comfortable in that environment, but then almost feel like there's more in me, like I'm capable of stepping beyond this and going across?
Yeah, well, I think Pats is where it kicked off. Obviously I played 2 games, I think it was, for Rovers B when I was there.
Yeah.
But Pats is definitely when it kicked off, and obviously I remember Tim Clancy came in as the manager, and I was 16 when he first came in pre-season, and he pulled me, and because he could see how ambitious I was to want to play, and for ages there wasn't a right back in yet. We got a right back in late on loan from Wolves, so I was like, right, I'm in with a chance here. And he just told me to like relax, you'll get your chance, this, that and the other. Obviously I was kind of like, yeah, right, sound, but I was obviously really, really wanting to play. And it actually took a while at the start, like before I played a game. Like I was on the bench every game, but I didn't get any minutes at all. Like my first game for Pats was a start. I never came on as a substitute or anything. So yeah, like I think that was really like important for me to like keep my head, and I did keep my head. And then obviously when I got my chance then against Drogheda away, we won 4-0 that day. I still remember like it was yesterday. I just took it then, and then I took it in my stride, and then it was just on to the next. So I think I just took it game by game, and I think I just grew game by game as well. And then obviously like I've took the next step now, which I think was a great time to take it. Like loved my time in Ireland, like absolutely brilliant league, and it's on the rise. I was there at a game last night as well, and like the football and all being played now, it just keeps getting better. Love my time in Ireland, but I think it was definitely the right time for me to take the next step.
Yeah, I agree completely.
That debut, enjoyed it. I'm guessing it's not like a Sunday League setup where you just meet in the dressing room half an hour beforehand and you're told you're starting. How soon in advance did you know you were starting, and how were the nerves before that?
So I was actually away at the start of the week. I went away to Feyenoord in the Netherlands, and I was supposed to be there for a week, and I went for 2 days, and I got a call off my agents at the time, and they were speaking to the manager, and he said like, you're going to start. So I was actually a little bit angry at the time, being taken back, because obviously I was looking forward to the week and stuff, and obviously I wasn't playing at the time, but I knew it was an opportunity for me when I came back. So I missed the Monday session. We were off on the Wednesday, and I think I was back in training on the Tuesday. I flew home on the Monday and trained the Tuesday.
Okay.
So I knew just at the start of the week, but I actually missed the session at the start of that week. Yeah.
And Feyenoord, was that like a trial kind of thing, or just a week's training for yourself?
It was just like a week's training. Obviously there was interest there. I was 16, so I was really young. Like I don't know if there was anything going to come of it, but I just went over for the week to see and train and stuff. Obviously I was actually supposed to play a game and stuff. Okay. But obviously I did end up coming back, and I played with Pats, and I'm thankful now that I did, because it was definitely the right thing to do. Nice. And how nervous were you in the lead up to your debut? Not really nervous. I was definitely nervous. As I said, like the nerves are always there, like a little bit in any game. But like I knew I was capable. Do you know what I mean? I was in training with these lads every day, and I knew I was up to the standard, and I was ready to take my chance, and thankfully I did. Like, yeah, haven't looked back since. No, not at all. Never do.
Was there any moments, either in the Drogheda game or any of your early games, where some self doubt did creep in? Where you did think, I don't know about this, or?
Not really, because the senior lads in the team were huge for me, like huge. Like Owen Doyle was there at the time, Chris Forrester, and like the confidence they filled you with, as well as the confidence you have in your own, it was a massive thing. Like, and they told me to take my chance, play my own game, and that's exactly what I did. And obviously there could be like a few little slack passes and stuff, and it can get in your head, especially Drop It Away, because Drop It Away, as you know, really tight pitch. Them fans are a little bit crazy, I would say. But of course there's little moments where you're like, oh shit, like, but no, nothing majorly, no, because I just think you have to stay focused on the game, and once little stuff like that happens, you just move on to the next action. Like,
deadly. For you then, when you're on the pitch and I don't know, let's say you make a slack pass, or let's say you go for a tackle and you miss time or whatever else, how do you put that to the side and be able to get back? Because a lot of people will have something that goes wrong, and that's like, it's in their head, and then you know the next time they go to make a pass, the same thing happens, and it's like this loop they can't get out of. Is there anything that you find?
To be honest, that was a problem with me a couple of years ago. I used to let it creep in, and I'd be fuming because I was so like trying to be a perfectionist with everything, and it's so unrealistic in football. Like, the best players like make huge mistakes all the time. So I think it was coming to terms with that and knowing all these Premier League footballers are making these mistakes every game. It's just the next action, and I think managers influenced that with me a lot. John Daly, who was the Pats manager only recently, he was the assistant at the time, and that was conversations I had with him a lot. He's seen that was kind of in my game, where it would kind of get in my head and training, or in a game when I was playing for Pats 19s and stuff, and I actually sat down and had a conversation with him about it, and he said, you need to just dust yourself down and move on to the next action. And then I seen, when I actually did start doing that, the next action was better, because if you let that first action affect you, then it moves on to the next and on to the next, on to the next, and it can get pretty bad then. So I just think the conversations with the managers, and actually just getting in that mind frame of all these professional Premier League players are doing the exact same thing, and it's normalised. I think that's what got that out of my head then at the time.
So, is it Winston Churchill? I think he said success has gone from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. It's like you see it in the Premier League every week. Some of the most stupid mistakes.
100%.
Like that.
Foul throws and stuff.
Like, you even see De Bruyne, like, he misses so much passes, and then he just plays a killer one, wins them the game. And I actually seen he done an interview about that as well. He said he'll play the same pass 10 times and make a mistake 10 times, but on the 11th pass it comes off, bang, goal. So
that's your job.
Like, you see, he's doing one of the best players in the world. Like, it's normal for likes of me to be doing that, and anyone else.
It's because so many, and not just in football, in life in general, you think you have to get like 100% hit rate. You ever see like Tony Cruz's stats, and it's like passing accuracy 100%. It's like, fuck's sake, how am I meant to compete with that? It's like, you don't have to be that. Like, that's not
it's
what
unrealistic.
Success is like. You know, you can fuck up a couple of crosses, you get one right, Ollie McBurney jumps up, heads it in, bang, job done. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like giving yourself almost permission to fail, and it's probably 100%. Especially on the pitch, it's probably better to fail but have tried to do something and make it happen.
100%.
Just do the safe thing.
I think that's so important as well. Like, trying things. Like, people, like, I think footballers need to do that more. Like, I think there is a lot of footballers that do it, but there's footballers that have so much more in them, but they're just afraid to try things.
Play it safe.
And obviously when you play games, and if you're going sidewards and backwards and playing the safe pass, you might look alright and be like, right, he's steady, but if you're coming onto a pitch, like, and you're trying to go forward, you're trying to do things, they mightn't always come off, but you can see you're trying to do the right thing and you're trying to be positive in your play. So managers see that, and like other players see that as well, and it's always encouraged. Like,
it's something that I picked up watching you when you were coming into the pass team. It reminds me a bit of like Garnacho at United, where it's like, you know, he's not going to do the safe thing, and sometimes he'll probably make a mistake, but it's like the fact he's willing to go and try. It's like they bring some energy to the pitch. They bring something to the table that
Garnacho is exactly like that.
Changes the game a bit, you know, that way. And look, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always come off, but it's like that little if factor, that little X factor that can sometimes just change the game. 100%. And I think when you stepped on with Pats and you were in at right back, it was like, you knew Sam was going to be bombing down the line. You knew he was going to be getting on the ball and trying to make something happen. It's like, doesn't mean that everything was perfect or it works.
No, far from it.
Like, bring something else to the table that can be the difference between winning or losing a game.
100%.
I think another thing though in relation to taking risks as footballers is there's like your own personal feelings towards the situation, and then there's everyone else outside of it, the coach, the players, the fans. And I don't know how, as a club or whatever, you go about creating an environment where players feel comfortable enough to take risks.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the dressing room and Pats and the coach and the fans, did you feel like if you made a mistake, everyone was going to be on your back, or did you feel like you had the space to try new things?
A few players would get pissed off, like, but I think you just had to know your players. Like, I think that was really important. Like, one for example is Chris Forrester. Like, he'd be on you if you made a mistake.
Yeah.
But then, like, he's just kind of in the heat of the game moment. Like, he'd say to you after, like, you know, like, because he is like that. That's just how he is. But he'd get pissed off. But you have to know he's going to get pissed off and know he, like,
it's not personal.
Exactly. It's not personal at all. It's just how he is in the game. But then most other players, like, obviously encourage you. Now, if it's a few stupid ones, and as I said earlier, if you're making the same mistake, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
But I think everyone knows, and I definitely knew when I was playing for Pats as well, like, making mistakes is normal. I made 2-3 big mistakes a game. Like, do you know what I mean? You just had to just keep doing it, and knowing one time it's going to come off and it's going to work, and then, as you said, it can influence a game massively. Like,
oh, for sure.
Unreal. And then obviously your season with Pats last year ended with the FAI Cup crown and that. How was that moment for you to be a champion of FAI Cup?
Unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. Like, my whole family was there. Like, it was such a proud day for me.
40,000 people at the Viva that day.
For me and my whole family, it was such a proud day. Like, it was packed, like, packed. And before the game, when you're walking out, you notice it. You see everyone, you're looking around, you're like, Jesus. But then actually when you're in the game, it's like silence. Like, just silence, and you're just in the game.
It's just another game.
Yeah, you're just in the game. But then when we won the cup, then I think when Tommy scored the third goal, I took a minute and I looked around and I said, Jesus Christ, like. And you know, I was happy. I said to myself before the game, I need to take in every moment. And my agent sat me down, he said, make sure you take it in, because I think games like that can pass you by and you can kind of forget about it then in the future. But I took in every moment, and it was probably the best day of my life so far, I would say.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, unbelievable
quality. And I remember early on in that game, you actually went down 1-0, wasn't it? Early on, Penno.
Yeah.
What, as a footballer, when you're on the pitch and something like that happens, you're 1-0 down early on, how do you kind of almost brush that to the side and move on?
I think at the time I knew the players we had on the pitch and how good we'd been playing. We obviously had confirmed Europe.
Yeah.
I knew we were right up there with one of the best teams in the league, and I knew we had the players to go and hurt them. I think when you go 1-0 down that early, it can be easy sometimes to go under a little bit, and then they could get 2, and then it's 3 before you know it. But I think it's just maintaining the game plan, taking the deep breath in, and just relaxing, and just focus the game plan, and just make sure you execute it. And obviously that's what happened in the end. Was we ended up winning the game 3-1. So I think it's important to just stay cool, calm, and collective, and trust in your own ability, trust in your team's ability. And we obviously went and hurt them then.
Big time. And I couldn't let this piece pass without asking about the fans at Pats. What? And obviously you spent 3 years there, and they've seen you kind of grow from, well, teenager to a teenager, a young teenager. What was the support you felt from the Pats fans like throughout your time at the club?
Oh, unbelievable. I think by far, I'm not even just saying it because I played for Pats, I think they're the best fans in the league. Away and home, like, they were always there. They always gave me so much encouragement. Like, even like you were talking about the mistakes and all as well, like if I made a mistake over on the side of the Camac in Richmond, like, you'd hear them saying, just go again, go again, go again. And they can influence it so much, but it's important not to let them influence it too much, because fans can go the other way as well. Now, Pats fans rarely did, but they can go the other way as well. But they were definitely a big part to play in my time there, and they're brilliant, like, brilliant.
Did you have your own song as well?
Yeah.
Did you?
I'm not going to sing it now.
Yeah,
it was
like, it's an ABBA kind of style song.
Yeah.
Super something like that.
That was the one,
What was that like the first time you heard that? Did you know it was
I don't actually remember the first time I heard it. I can't remember, but I think they'd been trying a couple of games prior to get one going, and I was like, is that my name? Like, you know what I mean? Couldn't make out if it was my name. As such. But then when I first heard it, then, and we actually went out after the FAI Cup Final, and we were at the Red Cow, but we went into some place after, and we were up on like this like stand, and they were all down below us, like everyone in this club, and it was all the Pats fans, because it was like a Pats after party, and they were all screaming it in the club. It was unbelievable. I have video on my phone. It's unreal.
That's like childhood dreams.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
But what brings me on actually to an important question, because all that happening to anyone be very easy to kind of get over yourself a little bit and start smelling yourself.
Yeah.
And you were obviously so young, still are, when that was happening. What helped you keep on the straight and narrow and not kind of get caught up too much in your own hype?
I think the people around me, like players, staff, family. I think family was a big one. I think my dad as well always made sure I never got too ahead of myself. And to be honest, like whether I needed it or not, like it was great to have there as well. I know myself. I always took everything game by game, and I'd have after the game, I'd be delighted if I had a good game, but then I'd push it then as well. Like, it's like when stuff doesn't go well, I think you can enjoy the moment. It's gone. Next game, like there was a lot of Monday Fridays in the League of Ireland. So you'd play on the Friday. You can enjoy it after the game, but then Saturday morning you're in. You have to execute the next game plan. So it's like you're only as good as your next game. I say like so. Like no one's gonna remember that if you go and have a bad game on Monday, then that's gonna be the next thing to talk about. So it's just making sure you go out there and do it again and again and again consistently.
Yeah, it's a great answer. Don't get too high with the highs or too low with the lows.
Exactly that.
And when you went into that cup final with Pats, that was November last year, and you went to Sheffield in the January. Did you know that was going to be your last game for Pats?
Yeah, I think I knew it was going to be my last game. I didn't know I was going where I went, but I knew it was going to be my last game. So obviously, as I said, I took in everything, and I think the whole kind of team kind of knew I was going to be moving on, and I think the fans did as well. So showed them recognition as well after as best as I could. But it was obviously like a happy day, but a little bit emotional as well, because I knew that was going to be it. But I think what way to sign off as well.
What way to go out.
Do you know what I mean? What way to sign off.
Absolutely.
And then you were crowned PFAI Young Player of the Year, wasn't that? The awards that year as well.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
FAI Cup, PFAI Young Player of the Year, ready for the next step.
Yeah.
What a way to sign off your career over here.
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah, it was a good way.
I do want to chat about Sheffield United, but before we get into that, I want to read something out to you. So I won't say who it's from, but I reached out to some people.
Right.
And I wanted to get to know Sam from a couple of different perspectives, let's say. Right. So I won't tell you who it's from. I'll see if you can guess. Right. But I asked him to give me I asked a couple of questions and asked him to give me some thoughts. Yeah. The first question was, what do you think it is that has helped Sam progress so quickly, so much at such a young age? Yeah. And the answer I'll read out. So I think Sam has progressed how he did because of his mentality. As a 17, 18-year-old, he believes he's the best right back in the world. We've literally had conversations about that. It's rare for a kid to be that confident so young, but when you actually believe it, it's a huge advantage. Also, his decision making is excellent, one of the best I've seen from a young lad, and he wants to improve in the areas he knows he has to. We had lots of conversations last year about crossing, and he managed to improve it. Do you know who that's from? Could you guess?
I'd guess Owen Doyle.
Jake Mulroney.
Is it Jake?
It's
Jake,
Is it? One thing that jumped out for me, legend. The big thing that jumped out for me, a couple of pieces. Firstly, is he believes he's the best right back in the world at his age. Where does that belief come from?
I just think within me, like, to be honest, and every day when I was, or every game night and every training session I was going out to train, like, I put on my boots and I always had my head right. I'm the best player here. I mightn't be, and most of the time I'm not. Like, especially now that I've made that step across, like I know I'm not yet. Do you know what I mean? But I think if you put that in your head, and like I think like you nearly talk that stuff into a reality, like genuinely, like that's how I think it works. So that's how I approach everything. Like, to be honest with you, and I think it does help me a lot, because I think if you're going in thinking like you're just another player, like, it doesn't help you. Like, I think you have to approach stuff like that, and I think Jake done the same as well. I think Jake approached stuff like that as well. He knew how good he was, and obviously it's starting to show now. He's been brilliant so far this season. Like,
that's like, it reminds me of, I think it was a Conor McGregor quote, and he's like, at the end of the day, you have to feel some way. So like, why not feel like the best in the world or the best to ever do?
100%.
There's a quote, I can't remember it word for word, but it was Larry Page, who's the founder of Google, I think it was Google. And I can't remember word for word, but essentially, like, you have to have a kind of, I can't remember what the words are, but it's something along the lines of, accept that, you know, it's almost like have an acceptance of the delusion of what you believe. Like, it's not reality. Like, I'm going out believing I'm the best player on the pitch. Now, it might not actually be true, but if I just go out and convince myself and carry myself as if I am the best player out here, it's only going to serve me.
It's only beneficial.
It's only going to be a benefit.
100%.
And I think that's such a big message to carry. If you're carrying that from the age of like 13 and 14, by the time you get to 18, 19, it's like you don't even have to convince yourself anymore.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like,
it's just there.
It's just ingrained.
Yeah. Just the new normal. Like, yeah.
And then the second question I asked Jake is, what advice would you give to Sam? Now, obviously, Jake's had his career. He was over in the UK. He's came back. You're obviously making that step across now. He said, my advice to him would be just to stay with that mentality that he has, even through the tough times, because they'll 100% come in football, and to make sure that he always wants to improve. He'll be fine.
Yeah. No negatives, no.
No negatives.
So man.
No
man.
negatives. He
Oh,
kept it nice.
Yeah. We did have plenty of them conversations, to be honest. And I remember a lot of times we'd stay out and do 1v1s against each other and stuff. And like, he'd get the better of me, I'd get the better of him, and we talk to each other. Like, I'd say, like, if you go that way, I'd be a bit. And if he says, when you move, I do this, and we just talk about, and we'd help each other so much, like, and then obviously we actually had a great relationship when we both played on the right Pats as well.
Yeah, and something that struck me about you is I think it was Keith Tracy was talking about you on off the ball or something.
Right.
But you sound like I don't know if he was involved with Pats or some other setup.
Yeah.
And you sound like you'd pull him sometimes. You see him out on the pitch and like ask for advice on crossing the ball, and same with the other lads like Owen or Jake. You were always looking for how do I do today? What do you think of this, that? And you always seemed really not only open to getting feedback, but really eager to go and get feedback off people.
100%. And I think you have to approach it with an open mind as well, because sometimes when you go to get feedback, it's most of the time it's not going to be like a positive.
Yeah.
Like even now at Sheffield, like I'm always chatting to Keith Andrews and stuff, and I'm asking them, and a lot of the time it's like, you need to do this bar, you need to do this bar, you need to do this bar. But you have to approach it with an open mind, and I think sometimes you do need to hear that to get the kick up the arse and kind of realise it yourself, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, obviously with the Keith Tracy one, I don't know if he was involved with Pats at the time, but he was always around. It was in Blanche IT actually,
right? And
he was always around the pitches and stuff. And obviously I know the player he was, so I think asking him, and like you're seeing it from someone else's point of view, rather than just a coach, you see it from a player's point of view who was a great crosser of the ball as well. I think like asking them questions is good. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone should be shy or shy away from it and just think that they know it all themselves. I think when you ask them questions, you could definitely get some answers that you're looking for.
Definitely.
Unbelievable. I think that being open to that feedback and that advice, because you're right, like when you ask for feedback, you're probably not going to hear something you want to hear. Like, it's not going to be nice. Especially if people give a shit about you and want to actually see it improve.
100%.
Like it's easy to have loads of yes men around you and be like, oh, you're unreal, best right back ever, man. Like,
it's not going to do harm for you though.
But that's it, you don't get better, so you have to be open to take it on board, and it's not always nice to hear it, but it's in your best interest long term if you take it on board. And like even what Jake had said there, you spoke loads about your cross, and I remember Jake actually when he was on the podcast, I don't know if it was on the episode or off here, but he was saying like we've had these conversations and I've spoken to Sam about his crossing, and he's improved so much over the last season with it. It's like taking that on board and being open and receptive to it, it's only in your benefit.
100%.
When the move then, or time came to make the move over to Sheffield, just talk me through like that process. What was it like, and what was it about Sheffield United that gave you the feeling of like this is the right next step?
I got a call from my agent just before Christmas, and he actually asked me to go to the Luton game on Stephen's Day. And my mum wasn't too impressed, obviously, as you know, because she wanted the family around and stuff. Me and my dad actually flew over on Stephen's Day, met Keith Andrews, met Chris Wilder, the gaffer, and like just the feel that I got when I was there was just different to anywhere else I visited. And I think going with that gut feeling is such a big thing, because I think rarely is it wrong. So when I went in there, I kind of just got a feeling, and obviously I went with it in the end. I came back, had a couple of weeks to think about my decision, because I didn't end up going till late in January. Had a couple of weeks to think about my decision, then ultimately I made the decision to go there, and I haven't looked back since, just hitting the ground running. Like,
was there other clubs at the time that were
there was other clubs as well, like met with a few other clubs as well.
All in England or different places?
Just different places, different places. And then if I wasn't meeting them in person, I was on Zoom calls and stuff. And I think it was just weighing up everything. But definitely I'm delighted with the decision that I made to go to Sheffield in the end, because I've really enjoyed my time there so far. Obviously where we finished in the league, it's not ideal, but I think that grounds you a bit though as well. Like you can see what it's like from a young age, and you see when you're at the lowest low, and it'll make you appreciate it so much more when you're in the high moments. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Big time. So moving across to Sheffield, that'd be the first time that you would have left home really to go live. Was there any fear your end of making that move, or?
when I first went, no, I was like, I'll be grand. Like, it'll be grand. Like, I'm not really a home bird anyway. Like, I'd never really be in the house. So I was like, no. But obviously when I first went across, it was tough, like, to be honest. And to be honest with you, I had a few like family stuff going on as well while I was over there, and it was like hard to get home and stuff. And obviously my family was hard for them to come over, so I was there on my own a lot, and it was hard. But you know what, I got to a certain point and I kind of just sit there with my own thoughts, and I'm like, right, what are you here for? Like, and I tell myself, I'm here to play football. I'm here to make a career for myself, for my future. And I think once I came to terms with that, I just kicked on, like, and I proper feel like myself there now. Like, obviously I'm home now on my break, but I think eventually I'm going to start missing home, missing my apartment, missing the lads, missing going into the training ground every day. So it's just a new normal now. So yeah, to be honest, it was hard when I first went, but now I'm 100% comfortable, 100% settled, and yeah, I'm loving it. Like,
yeah, I think that's a big part about football that people don't see. It's like whatever about the person on the pitch, but like, you're packing up everything, you're going to a new city you've probably never really been to before. There's a new club, new coach, new cultures, and like, it can take 5 or 6 months just to feel comfortable in that environment, never mind performing on a pitch.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I genuinely, like, I know a lot of boys that went over from Ireland to England. They're like, it's actually hard, you know, like, and I was like, stop, like, I'll be grand. And I thought I would, but I wasn't bad now whatsoever, like, just a little bit. But it's gone now, to be honest, and I'm 100% comfortable, and it's just getting through that. Like, I think because it's easy to go, oh, fuck this, like, do you know what I mean? But I just think it's getting through that hard stage, because there's going to be so much more of them, and knowing how to approach stuff like that. And once you come through the under end of it, the benefits are massive, and it just helps me on the pitch as well. Like,
yeah, for sure. And what's it like because I know obviously as a player you have like agents and representatives and stuff. Yeah. In that negotiation process of this club wants you have to sort out this fee, I want this wage, contract, blah blah. Yeah. How involved are you in that process, or do you leave that?
I don't like to get involved at all, to be honest. Like, at all. Obviously, my agent, the agent obviously is the obvious one who does all that type of stuff. Obviously, family are involved as well, like a little bit. But I didn't like to get involved in too much, and I never really liked to know what was going on too much. I just knew I had the right people around me. I knew they were doing the right things, and I was just focused on my football. Even when I stopped with Pats, like, I was doing bits of training and just letting them do that. Yeah. Knowing they had my best interest, but obviously it's important to get that own feel yourself. Hence why I said when I went to Sheffield, I got that good feeling. Yeah. So all that type of stuff is important, and then obviously the figures with figures and stuff, like, you just leave that to the agent. You know what I mean? Not getting involved in stuff like that. Like,
nice. Fair. Obviously Sheffield United were a Premier League team. Was there at the time of you deciding where I want to go, was the draw of I want to be a Prem player, was that a big part of it? Because you see some players come from Ireland and maybe go to League One or Championship level and then work up, versus going straight in at the Prem.
No, not really. As I said, like, I think it was more just how I felt when I visited the club. Like, I think obviously we're now going to be in the Championship next season, but it was Premier League at the time. I knew, like, the club was down low in the league and we're kind of at a hard point. And when I went in, I was like, I seen and was training with the boys, I was like, we have a great chance of staying up, like, great team, we're putting in good performances. Obviously it didn't work out for us in the end, but like, it was just that feeling. Obviously it was nice to be in a Premier League team for the first time, and it's obviously thing you dream of, like, but no, that definitely wasn't, because I think, like, if you're making a move like that and you're just going for them reasons, like, it's never going to be the right decision. Do you know what I mean? It's never going to be the right decision. You just have to go with your gut, go what you think's best for you, and that's what I did.
I agree completely with you. I don't know what interview it was, but you mentioned, I think it was with the Irish Independent maybe, you said it was a long-term thinking behind that decision and where you wanted to go. Which I think, especially at your age, but in life in general, making decisions that are going to work out best for you, big picture, as opposed to just, for example, I'll go with this sexy name of a team because they're famous and popular and everyone knows them. It's like, I remember there were stories, I won't mention names, of like young players when we were your age group, like growing up, and they had opportunities, say, go sign for a City, for example, a Man City. It's like, it sounds deadly, but you think if Man City need a new right back, for example, do they promote them from the academy, or do they just go out and spend 70 million on the best player who's available? I know,
exactly. And that's what it is. That's why you have to be so careful where you go. You know, like, obviously what you're saying, like, you could go to like a City and then you think, right, grand, I'm 4th, 5th choice, and then bang, 70 million new right back, and then you're down again. So there has to be a plan behind everything you're doing, and like a structure and a long-term plan. Obviously, I've signed a couple of years there, so it's not. I know it's not going to happen for me straight away, and it definitely hasn't happened for me straight away. I'm far from where I want to be, like very, very far. But there has to be a long-term plan, and the club have that for me, and I know what that is, and we're working towards that.
Yeah, were you 18 when you went over, or not?
18, yeah.
And was the idea you were going over and straight into the first team, or were you with the reserves for a while? Or?
No, like it was straight in, like obviously straight in training and stuff. I think it's up to you where you're gonna be. Like I was playing. I played plenty of 21s games since I've been over there. Not as much recently because obviously looking after bodies and stuff. The end of the season, you know yourself when it comes to the back end of the season. But I think I could have went there and they could say, right, you're going into the first team, but if you're not up to the standard,
they won't keep you around.
You won't be kept around. Like it's ruthless like that. So I think obviously it was to go into the first team, and I have been in the first team every single day. Like I'm in the dressing room, etc. But like, I just think it's up to you where you do go. Obviously the plan can be set, but it depends on your progress and how you're approaching stuff as well, where you actually are in the club. Like
for sure. And what was that like? I know obviously Pats is a professional team and the League of Ireland is a good league in its own right, but to go from that into like Premier League football, like the best league in the world, into that dressing room, those standards, that sort of level of football, was that an intimidating thing for you, or did you feel comfortable straight away?
I felt comfortable, you know. I think I said that in that interview you were speaking about as well. Like I think for a lot of people my age and even older than me, like it can be a big thing and really overwhelming, but I just think like I know why I'm there, like I know I'm supposed to be there, I know I'm good enough, have the belief, like, and even since I went I think I've progressed so much, like so much, like I really feel it myself, and I think others are seeing it in me as well, like. But obviously it's a massive step, like when you first go in you're like you know what I mean, like it's a kind of like, I won't say like a wake up call, where you're just like, shit, this is different.
There's
like levels to this game. Like, and I think some people don't actually realise. I think I actually didn't really realise it when I used to speak to Jake. I used to be like, you know, like kind of have that think. I'm like, you know what I mean. But when you go in, it takes some getting used to. But once you get used to it, you're in the flow with it, and I know now that's where I'm meant to be, and I'm fitting in perfectly. But at the start, like it was tough getting to the pace, but I'm definitely there now. Like, what
were some of the things you noticed as being different? Is like, that's a level from expected.
Like obviously how aggressive the League of Ireland is. But there's that aggression there that you probably wouldn't see as much. But like it's more clever stuff, like or little bumps, or not just smashing tackles and stuff like that. It's just more clever, and it's more your brain, and your brain has to think a lot faster. That's what I would say. Like you can't have time. You don't have near enough time to think on the ball, especially in training. Like in training, because everyone drives it from each other. Like it kind of comes from each other, and if you're a split second too slow on the ball, it's turned over, and people are on your case. Like you just have to get into that thinking fast. I think that would be the biggest thing for me, is the time on the ball. You don't have as much time as you would here. Definitely not.
I've heard that even from like players who would play, say, League One level in England, Championship level, and then Premier League level. Like, what's the difference? And they're saying if you took a Championship player, Premier League player, League One player, and just brought them out for a little kick around on a Sunday, for example, they're probably all similar enough in terms of their actual football and ability. But when you're in there, the intensity that they operate at the Premier League is just a step up from anything else. It's just
different level, like different level. I even felt it when I came on there the other day. Like
I'd say so.
You feel it, like coming on 1-0 down at Goodison, like you just see it, like, and it's obviously it's the last half hour of the game, but it's just like you have to think double time, like you have to, or else they're on you, like.
And even the awareness you need to have of everything that's going on around you. There was, I can't remember what game it was now, but it was just a couple of weeks ago in the Prem. And it was like, say the left winger was coming down pitch, right? Left winger swings the ball in, and then the right winger came in from the back post and scored, right? And they were like analysing the defender and seeing what the defender done wrong on his end. It was like, he looked over his shoulder once, seeing where his man was. Couple of seconds passed by, didn't look back again. Ball came across.
He's in a different position. I know.
That's it. And it's like those little split seconds that if you're not on the ball, bang, goal, and it's your fault.
That's what I mean.
And everyone's gonna know about it.
I think in the Premier League as well, like I think a lot of people talk about it, even in Sheffield, that played in the Champ and played in the Premier League. They actually say the Champ, you're pressed more than you are in the Premier League. But in the Premier League, like what you just said there, if you switch off for a split second, you're done. Like, I think in the Champ, so we've been told now, I haven't played there myself, you can get away with it sometimes because there's more quality in the Prem. But in the Prem, you switch off for a split second, you're punished. It's bang, goal, 1-0 down.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
It's what makes it so
different, man. It's different.
So intriguing.
Yeah.
And it's actually, when games are slow and boring, it probably says more about the quality of the players playing that they can make it look like that.
100%. And they can make you think, right, we're all right here.
Yeah.
Split second. Like, I've seen it plenty of times, like, since I've even been over, like been comfortable in games, and you're like, right, we're on top here, and then bang, go 1-0 down. You know what I mean? So you just have to be so tuned in from minute 1 to minute 94, 95, whatever it is.
Fucking 120 nowadays.
Whatever it is.
But what you said there brings up a point we made earlier as well. With now that you're operating at Premier League level, let's say, right at that stage, and you know the margins are even smaller, you can see with some players that maybe at lower levels, say League of Ireland level, Championship, whatever, they had that willingness to take risks and to do things, and then when they make the step up, they almost lose that piece of themselves because they don't want to be the ones like, I made that mistake, whatever else, and then that. Is that something you're conscious of as you're making these step ups to make sure you don't lose that piece of you?
Yeah, because I think it's easy to. It's easy to. I remember actually when I first kind of came over, I had a session and we were doing small sided games, and obviously you only have like 2 defenders in the small sided session, so we'll drop down. And I think I got the ball off the keeper maybe 2-3 times, and I just went back to him 2 or 3 times in a row, and the gaffer just pulled me straight away. He pulled me to the side while the game's going on. He said, if you got the ball 2 or 3 times off the keeper there, and you've gone back to him 2 or 3 times with the ball, you can't do that. Like, where's the positivity? Like, where's this that I see with you in possession drills and stuff? And then I think like it's easy to go in like that, you know what I mean, as what you said. But yeah, you have to. I'm definitely conscious of it now. And after he spoke to me about that, I haven't let it really be a thing again. Because I think when I make them, not mistakes, but them.
That's the thing. Is like, is it a mistake?
Yeah,
it's not because you kept the ball, but it is because
not mistakes, but like them little small errors. I'm making sure that it doesn't happen again, because you want to show them that, you know what I mean? So then, even if it's a bounce back to the keeper and then like a little dart, it's much more than passing and just standing there and letting the striker come and you're just standing behind them being a hidden body, like
hiding,
exactly. So that's definitely something I've been conscious of more since I had that chat with the gaffer now, I have to say,
Really, even hear stories of like Rio Ferdinand talking about how Roy Keane blasted him out in his
Jake was saying Rio Ferdinand blasted him out.
Exactly. So it's just, that's the way it goes at that level, isn't it?
It happens, like, do you know what I mean? And it's all about learning, like, and I've learned so much even since I've made the step across, and it just makes you a better player. So it's stuff like that, it's all in the player's interest, you know what I mean? So it actually helps you so much. So like, I'm delighted to have the right people around me to actually tell me that, because it's only going to improve me as a player, and I know that myself, so it's nothing bad.
This question is probably less serious when it comes to football, but it's something that's always a topic of discussion, especially with Premier League clubs, because I think the finances that are within those clubs. But like, I think it was when Steven Gerrard was at Aston Villa, or maybe it was Lampard at Chelsea, and they had like this big fine board. Remember, it was like stupid things like if you don't have your polo shirt tucked up, it's like a 10 grand fine or whatever. Is there anything like that in Sheffield United? In terms
there
of
is fines. We have a spin board in the dressing room, and like for like little stuff like that, like coming late to the gym or not filling in your wellness in the morning, like you could get a fine, but then like if you're not paying the fine, you'll have to spin the board, and it could be like times 10 or wash a player's car or stuff like that. Like it is definitely a thing. Like,
have you had to spin the board?
No, not yet. But even if you touch the board, you have to spin it.
Oh really?
So when I first came in, thank God I didn't go over and start messing with it. Like you have to spin it even if you touch the board and all. So like they're proper serious on that.
Who's the enforcer for that?
I think it's a few boys. I think Ream Brewster's definitely one.
Really?
Yeah, he's on everyone's case. Spin all the time. Like, but a lot of players in the dressing room, you get a laugh over it. I think that's why the board's there, to make it a bit more fun. But like nobody wants to be spinning that board. Like,
is there any like positive outcome on the board, or are they all shit?
I think it's like, no,
You don't
No,
want that,
I don't think so. Maybe spin again. That's
Okay,
about it.
You're screwed
That's
either
not
way.
ideal, that, yeah, Jesus.
Oh, that's funny.
When you first went over, did you have to do an initiation? Sing a song?
No, I think they forgot about it.
We'll edit this out of the podcast.
I've been
so they don't
away.
be reminded.
Yeah, I know. So I've been away so many times, like on away trips, going to hotels and stuff. And I think because they forgot it the first time, I think they just they all just kind of, he's been here before, so they just think I
Went
did
under
do
the
it,
radar.
but I haven't done it yet. Like,
We'll get the
but I'd have
Pats
no
fans
bother
over
doing
for
that.
you.
Like, I'd have a song straight on. No
What
worries.
would you go for?
But you can pay a fine though as well.
Instead of singing?
Yeah, pay a fine. But like, he was gonna do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
boring. Like,
It is.
I don't know what I'd go for. Maybe a bit of Adele or something.
Oh, yeah, you'd go for
I'd
it.
give it a Rico. Yeah.
I like it.
Respect.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect that.
And if you don't mind me jumping
Yeah,
in.
go ahead.
Because you just mentioned, I didn't even think about the away trips, but like whatever about moving, like you go to Sheffield, you get your apartment, you settle in. Going on an away trip seems like a bit more of a like an intimate thing with your teammates, where like you're probably sharing a hotel room or like they're just in this bubble.
Yeah.
Who like at the early period was there like a certain player that you'd like just gravitate towards or spend more time with, or?
When I first came, I was kind of with like the young boys more so, like, 'cause that's kind of who you naturally blend with. But then, because when I first went, John Egan wasn't there. He was away because he was injured. He was actually doing like a prehab kind of camp thing for his injury. But then he came in, and then like he's obviously not actually with the group because he's still injured. But like definitely, I'd say him. Like obviously on the away trips and stuff, I kind of just like mix and match for everyone. I don't like to just be like in a group or in little bubbles. Like I try to mix and match for everyone and speak to the more senior players, the young lads, and then whatever it is, like I talk to anyone. So I think it's important you're really open about that as well, because I think like people respect you more and like will take a liking to you more if you're more open about that, and kind of don't go into yourself and just go back to your room after dinner, straight back to your room. Like you kind of mix and match with people, whether you're playing game of cards or whatever the lads do, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I chat to anyone, like, really.
That's good. And have the lads, everyone at the club, have they always made you feel like welcome and comfortable?
Oh yeah,
around them?
100%. Like from minute one, like straight away. I remember when I first went over, my mum and dad came with me and my agent, and I don't even know if they knew I was like a new signer on, but every single player just straight up to the table, introduced themselves. Like, and since then, like it's been the same. And now I genuinely feel like I'm how I was at Pats now. Obviously at the start, you're a different character. You're not so much like proper yourself, which is normal. But now, like, I feel like I've been there a couple of months now, and I'm kind of like just myself now, which is a great feeling, like, of comfortability, you know.
Definitely. So that's what will get the best out of you as a player.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. For you, I'm always curious to know, like, what does a match day look like for a Prem player? And I think, let's use the example of the Everton game where you actually made your debut.
Yeah.
Like, you wake up, was that a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday?
True. Yeah.
It was
3, yeah, 3.
Perfect. So let's say what time you waking up at, what does the events leading up to the actual game look like?
So the Everton game, we went down the night before. Cause it's only in Liverpool, it's actually not too far from Sheffield. If it was a later kickoff, I'm sure if it's like an 8 o'clock kickoff, you might go in the morning. But because it's a 3 o'clock, you don't want to be travelling in the morning for them games. So we went down the night before. Obviously, if there's a pool in the hotel, like, you'll go down to the pool and do your stretching, your mobility, and there'll be like foam rollers and all there for you, and they'll go through whatever you want to, whatever it is you feel like your body needs.
Yep.
It'll be open for you to go and get, whether it's a rub down off the physios, or if you need the foam roll, or you need to go down to the pool, you can get that straight away. It's all accessible to you.
Deadly.
And then, but yeah, we came in, went into Liverpool, and I think it's like, you go in, you get a meal. It's important. Rest time is huge. They're big on rest time. So you go back to your room, you rest, and then there'll be snacks again, then optional at night time.
Right, sick.
If you want to come down for snacks, or if not, you can just go to sleep early. Wake up the next morning, it's breakfast early. You have to go, like, because I know some players don't really like to eat in the morning. They like to just to have the pre-match and go, but you have to go down.
What's the options for breakfast they'd have?
We have, like, the chefs come in mostly, and a lot of players get like an omelette or something, and then obviously there's other stuff, like, you know, the basics, like beans, scrambled egg, whatever it is. You don't want to be
Cocoa Pops or something.
all the Cocoa Pops are always there. No, I don't think the nutritionists be too happy if you're taking them. But yeah, you get the breakfast, and then back to your room then for a couple of hours, maybe 2-3 hours, like, then you're down for pre-match, and then you'll have a team meeting before you go, and then you're on the way to the game.
It sounds like there's a lot, but I'd imagine it flies in.
Oh, it goes like that. Like that. Like, I'm not big on like traveling and all, like on buses and all. I don't mind like if I'm comfortable, but like buses, it's not really. I don't really like it.
Yeah.
But I'm like every time before the game, I'm like I'd love to not go on this bus and just be there. But you get on, by the time you get on that bus and you're getting back on it after the game, it's like that. Like, and that's why I think it's so important, as I said about the cup final, to take in everything all the time, because it goes by like so fast.
And what about when you were sitting on the bench? And I'd imagine, I don't know if this actually how played out, but Chris Wilder goes, "Curtis, get ready, they're going
like
on."
that, what's Santiago Munez?
You know what? I hadn't a clue. Like, because I was so eager for so long. I was like, because I knew I was training well, I knew I was applying myself well. And our sports scientist sends boys out to warm up, so it'd be like next three go. And then the sports scientist just said 3 go. And as I ran out, I ran down the line, literally just got out, and he screamed, "Sam, come on," like, and I was like, I just pointed, I was like, "Me?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Grant." So I just ran back, threw the jersey on, give you your set plays to know where you are.
Yeah, you just see that actually, don't you?
Yeah, I always wondered what they're saying to you in those moments.
Yeah, they just give you your set plays, make sure you know your job for like corners, whatever it is.
Okay. When you're in that, are you actually taking in what's being said, like, or is it kind of like,
you have to. You have to, like, you have to, because the worst, when I actually came on, I went straight into a free kick.
Right, okay. Yes.
So you have to know what you're doing. Like, it's so big in football. I don't think people realise how big, like, free kicks and set plays are. Like, they're crucial. So you have to make sure you definitely know them before you can go on. And then it's just final few instructions from the manager and go on and just do your thing. Like,
well, do you remember what those final few instructions from Chris Wilder was on that day?
He just told me, like, go on, play your normal game, and like play forward when possible. Just play it like it's another game. Like, do you know what I mean? And just embrace it as well. Take it in. And he just says best of luck to you. It's not too much, because you don't want to give too much info as well as getting the set piece information already. It's not too much. Just go on and play, like, you know.
Unreal.
Nice. And what was that? Was it like in slow motion when the player, I don't do it anymore, the player goes off, but did it like when it was happening, we were like, oh shit, this is happening now, or were you just dying to get on?
Is there a way out? Can I bottle this?
I was a bit like, oh shit, like, I actually wasn't like, it wasn't a nervous shit. I was like, right, it's happening now, like, and I knew it was happening, so I was like, just get focused in and dial in, and that's what I done, like, and just ran on, obviously straight into a set piece. And then my first touch of the ball was actually got it and played a lovely pass down the line, and that kind of like started me into the game then, and it was a good way to start the game, like.
Nice. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Who was it you were marking that day? Who was out on the left for Everton?
I actually don't know who it was.
Dwight McNeil usually, is it?
He started, but another boy came on, and I'm not sure of his name, but another boy came on then, I was up against him though. I'm not sure who he was now, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah. What an experience, man.
I absolutely nailed Ashley Young though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Intentionally.
Nailed them. The ball just dropped, and I wasn't even thinking, because I think if I was thinking, I'd be like, oh, imagine I got sent off, and then obviously the VAR and all is there, which is, it's not in the League of Ireland, like, the VAR and all is there, and I just ran, both of us running full pace, and we just bosh, like, smack both of us straight in the air. Premier League introduction, man.
Welcome to the Premier.
Yeah. Unreal.
And how long did you play? Was it half an hour or so?
Yeah, just something like that. It was just under half an hour, I think. Yeah.
Did you have to do the sprints at the end then to?
No, but I don't think anyone done the sprints then after the game, because it was Everton's last home game. So they were all going around for ages. So I think they just left it, and I think the lads that didn't play much just done a bit extra at the end of the next session.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Unreal. And then obviously I'd imagine get back in the dressing room, get a shower, whatever else, open your phone, being blown up from.
I tried to not go on it straight away, because I was kind of trying to like make it like a normal thing, like I didn't want to be like, oh, let me check the phone, who's messaging me, who's posting me. I kind of left it for a bit, and then when I got on the bus, obviously I seen it and was blowing up, and like you see people you've never even heard of, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know them, but never before have they been like, well done, you're getting it. You're like, sound, like. But it was good, like, to open the phone, obviously all my family and all telling me how proud they are of me, girlfriend, etc. Everyone, like, it's nice, like.
Real.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you find it out on the pitch against Everton? Was it like the step up that you thought it would be, or did you feel comfortable?
I definitely felt comfortable. Like, I think, like, look, it wasn't a perfect debut. I know that myself. Like, a ball came out to me, and I actually was on for a cross, and I put it right behind the goal, behind the goal, and that happened. You're kind of like, oh, but you know what? Like, I just said, it's happened now. Go back, play the rest of the game. Like, do you know what I mean? And just keep playing your own game. Like, It wasn't perfect. I definitely felt comfortable. Like, I was like, right, this is where I was supposed to be. Like, I knew I was on the stage where I was supposed to be. I've always wanted to be. But yeah, I definitely felt comfortable there. Like, and please God, I'm playing many games there now in the next few years.
Yeah. Sure, plenty more ahead of you.
Yeah.
Can I ask, for you, obviously you went in January, things weren't looking great for Sheffield United at the time.
Yeah.
Things didn't improve. I don't know when it was exactly that relegation was confirmed, but it was before the end of the season anyways that you knew you were going down. What's the environment like in a dressing room when you know you're on the brink of relegation, you know you're going down back to Championship?
You know what? Like, it was so positive.
Really?
Like, so positive. Like, obviously, there'll be days in training where, like, players can be getting wound up and stuff, but that happens anywhere. I think it was so positive, and, like, right up until it was confirmed relegation, everybody still, like, had so much... I don't want to say hope, so much like aspirations to stay up, and like everyone was actually genuinely not just coming from a place of naivety, like it was confident, like we can still stay up here, lads, and that's how every approach was. Even after relegation, we were going out every game to win. Everybody was still positive, and like as I said, it always has to be next game. So it was actually really positive. Obviously, it's not an ideal situation to be in, but like, it was the reality of how it was. So everybody just knew what they had to do, just kept trying to play our own game, and that's what we done right to the end now, in fairness. Like,
yeah, I can imagine it can be tough, but at the same time you have to just accept, like, this is where we're at.
Of course you do, yeah.
That's it. The fans are still coming, paying their money to come watch us play. You can't just roll over and...
Yeah, you're given a game plan before every game. Like, you have to just keep executing it to the best of your ability. Like, obviously, a lot of results didn't go our way, but like... everyone was still giving 100% every game, and no one gave up until the end. So even though we didn't get where we want, like, that's all you can really ask for. Is, do you know what I mean? Obviously the quality did outshine in a lot of stages, but no one like turned it in and was like, right, we're gone. Everyone gave it a good go and gave 100% in training and like on the match day. Like,
yeah. This is probably a bit of an unfair question because you can only speak from the perspective of like St. Pat's and Sheffield United. But just to get a perspective of like the differences, maybe the gaps, and maybe there isn't one between League of Ireland and Premier League in terms of like the organisation, the preparation that goes into the matches, the sort of tactical analysis and all that game plan stuff. How different is it at Sheffield compared to the way it was at Pat's?
I think like in Pat's, like it was always like tried to make as professional as possible, which is so good, like, and I think it's only going to rise in the League of Ireland. Like, it's always made to be like that. I think there's only so much you can do with like
limited resources.
Exactly that, like limited stuff, and obviously training grounds aren't there as good, and like exactly what you said, resources as in like tactical stuff, like in the analysis room and stuff like that. Like it's like obviously the setup is completely different. I think if the League of Ireland setup can get to that, I'm not saying it's going to get to Premier League standard, but it can definitely get better. That will only rise up as well. But like obviously it is a big difference, and like as you said as well, like the detail they go into is fine detail. Like you know, like you always get sent out your one-on-one opponent, like, and everything about your one-on-one opponent and his last recent games and stuff. So you have to like proper dial into that as well, and like if you're asked a question on it, you're expected to know, like,
no way,
you know what I mean? So it's one-on-one stuff as well as just like the team. So the detail is
so like if you're marking, I don't know, Salah the weekend against Liverpool,
you'll get sent loads of stuff about him, and the whole for like defenders, it's like 10 left wing, right wing, and striker. And you kind of need to know all of them, because obviously you know the way in the Premier League everyone can rotate, like, so you kind of need to know like all of them, their strengths and their weaknesses. Like,
that's mad, isn't it? I didn't realise that level of detail.
It's proper, goes down to the finer detail,
and that's like whatever 38 games in the Premier League season plus like 40 odd games a season. You're doing that for
it's big, like.
When they say it's more mental than physical, I can understand exactly where that comes
100%,
into.
You have to be dialed in every minute. It's not just on the pitch, it's the meetings, it's everything, like feedback, you need to take everything in, like it's absolutely everything. Even when you go home, like you still need to make sure you're doing the right things. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just in the training ground. Like you have, when you go home, like eat, sleep, hydrate, like it's all plays a huge factor, and you can see it. Like you look obviously at Ronaldo, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's clear, like that's a prime example of off and on the pitch. Like it's
Yeah,
It's you have to live and breathe it. Like
it's a very intense lifestyle, isn't it?
It is, and footballers, maybe I'm biased because we're football fans, but I always feel footballers get such a rough time because of how much money is in the game. It's like, oh, what you moaning for? You're being paid this much money, blah blah blah. It's like, I get it. Like, I get that there's, you know, nurses and doctors and other people who do those jobs that probably deserve more money, but at the same time, just brushing over footballers as if like you don't have any problems. You're earning X grand a week. You know, it's like they work their arse off. Year,
dedicate their
week
life
out. Like this is, you know? This is not just right. I'm training from 10 till 2 today. Right, what will I do after I train? Just go and, you know, sit in the bookies all day. Are you getting Nando's?
You can't do any of that. Like, you know, obviously I think it is still so important to live your own life as well and have fun and be with friends and be with family and have a nice time. But like, of course, you're limited. Like, you know what I mean? And you have to still make sure you enjoy your days. Like, obviously you can have the odd takeaway or odd stuff like that. It's important to have days like that as well, but like it's very, very often, like, and you have to be 100% dialed in 99% of the time, if not more.
Yeah. And what does a normal day in Sheffield look like for you? Not a match day, like just a regular training day.
Like a normal training day, we arrive at 10. Like most days it could be 10:30 or it could be 9:30, but most days it's 10. And like on a full training day, we report at 10. We'll have a meeting about 10:15. Now all the boys get in before 10 to eat breakfast and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Meeting 10:15, up to the gym for prehab, 10:45. So you do your prehab, do your individual bits. 11:15, you're out on the pitch, say for the gist of what, 2 hours maybe.
Okay.
2 hours, then you'll come in, shower, lunch, fresh set of gear, up to the gym then for whatever it may be, like 2-3 o'clock, get the gym session in there, whether it's uppers or lowers or whatever's assigned that day, and then finish up about 3:30.
Okay.
And then home to Sheffield then, and then it's like I'm blessed because at home where I live in Sheffield, I live in an apartment, but there's a pool and everything at the bottom of the apartment and a gym, so I've access to great stuff, like, and I can do like extra bits there for recovery and stuff. So I take advantage of that and I use that really, really often. Like, to kind of just like chill, like obviously meet up with a few of the boys off the team the odd time, but just chill, relax. And obviously I actually have, like, the past while I've had a lot of people come to visit me and stuff, like family, etc. So it's nice to have that as well, and that company's good. Like, it's important, you know. It
sounds like a very boring lifestyle sometimes, like very repetitive. There's not a whole lot of...
It can be, and it's like sometimes on the head, but then obviously you just, again, you sit with your own thoughts, like, I know what I'm doing it for. You know what I mean? So like, you just kind of get on with it, like, I love it, like. So
when you do have a chance to kind of have a little cheat meal or whatever else, what's your typical go-to?
When I was in Ireland, I'd love a Chinese.
Yeah.
But I actually haven't got one in England yet.
I lived in London for a year and I didn't get a Chinese. It doesn't seem to be as much of a thing over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be near as great.
They don't do spice bags around.
No, not at all. I remember the boys were coming to Dublin for like kind of end of season due, and every player was like, I'm getting a spice bag. They're gonna have to get a spice bag. Yeah, they were buzzing for it, like living for that.
I see them all putting a transfer request now to come to League of Ireland just to get spice bags. So if it's not Chinese while you're over in the UK, what would you be going for?
To be honest, I don't really get takeaways. Like, I haven't really got many, like, because obviously I'm only starting there, so I'm always wanting to give myself the best chance.
Enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
get your foot in the door proper.
Exactly. Once the foot's proper in the door, I'll have the odd one. But like, I haven't really been having them, to be honest.
I respect. In terms of like nutrition in general, do the club take care of that, or are you at home?
We have a nutritionist in the club who, like, plays a massive role. Like, nutritionists play a huge role in football. Like, and he'll be with the chefs as well, and he'll be watching portions that are dished out on the plate, and then obviously before we all left, we all get our own nutrition plan as well. So like, he looks after all that, and any questions I have or queries that I have when I am home and here in Ireland, I'll just contact him and he'll let me know. Like,
I knew it was a serious operation at that level, but I didn't realise just how in depth it got. They literally leave no stone unturned.
It's like, seriously,
there's no question. And again, I can understand then how you as an 18-year-old going to make your Premier League debut at Goodison Park, for us looking at that, like, you must be kicking yourself, mate, like getting ready to go out there. But all the preparation that you have done going in, you're still nervous, but it's like, I know who I'm marking, I know what he's about.
You're given everything, and then it's just handed over to you then, so there shouldn't really be any excuse. Do you know what I mean? So just, it's handed over to you, you go and do what you do. We've given you all the information, like, you know.
So for you now, Sam, you've had 6 months obviously over in Sheffield, get to grips with where things are at. have a little break now, then get back into things for pre-season. And what's your, obviously the team, the club will have their goals and ambitions. I'm sure getting back into their Prem will be a big one. But for you personally, what's your goals and ambitions over the next year?
I think obviously when I was in Ireland I played a lot of games and I played a lot of football. I think it's just to play as many possible games as I can and constantly give good performances every week. And just keep doing what I'm doing, because I definitely know I'm on the right track. Like, I can feel it in myself. I feel great. I have the right people around me in Sheffield. Great group of lads. Obviously, there's going to be a good few moving on now. But the boys that we do have and that will be there next year are only going to help. And it's just, obviously, the aspirations of the team are to get straight back up to the Prem, as you said. But that's an aspiration for me as an individual as well, to help the team do that and just play as many games as possible and constantly and consistently play at a good level.
Beautiful, solid answer. I wanted to ask you actually a little bit about the Ireland setup. You've been involved with Junior 21s for a long time now. Yeah. Have you been involved with the first team as well?
No, not yet. Not yet. To be honest, like, I'm looking towards it, like, not too far towards it, because I'm always focused on the now, but obviously you see, like, obviously Coleman's there, Doherty's there, two top players. But obviously I have aspirations in the next year or two, hopefully, to be in there. But I'm enjoying times with 21s now, and it's excellent. We actually have a camp now coming up on the 4th of June. 2 friendlies. We're playing Croatia's 21s and England's 20s, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. Like, that'll be nice.
How different is it at the international setup compared to, obviously you have far less contact with the coaches and players and stuff, but in terms of like standard of sessions and like sort of general information and stuff?
Standard sessions are right up there, like, right up there, like, and they always do be, I think. Again, like, I think international, like, relationships are so good. Like, the team is actually, I know, because the team's not together, people might think like it's not as connected, but in our Ireland team anyway, the team is so connected, like, so connected. And I think when you have that on the pitch, it's just better. So everybody just goes out there and enjoys themselves and draws from each other. But the sessions are always like a good standard, and they're demanded as well. Like, if they're not, they're gonna have to be, or you won't be in the next squad. Like, so it's always good.
I'll make a break. I like it.
And I know the Irish national team hasn't been too great to watch or be supporters of the last couple of years, but it feels like, I think Stephen Kenny got a lot of harsh criticism when he was in charge of Ireland. Like, a chef is only as good as his ingredients, right? And it's like, when you're operating with a crop of players who have a lot of players who are moving towards the end of their careers, he's trying to breed new players into his team and get like a solid foundation of that to build on. Like, there's only so much you can expect, but it feels like with the Irish setup, there's a lot of really promising young players coming through. Like, obviously 100%. You've seen Evan Ferguson at Brighton, even across the continent. There's the likes of, I think it's Jake O'Brien at Marseille or Lyon. I'm not sure which one he's at. There's Kevin Zeffy. You know, like, there's lots of names and Kevin Kelleher at Liverpool, who's obviously been a lot more involved recently, and Sam obviously coming through at Sheffield now. It's like, it feels like there's momentum building there that will hopefully translate now into some really positive stuff for the Irish national team.
There definitely is, and I think there's a lot of good work now being done in Ireland as well. Yeah. But obviously and it has to be that way, because obviously with Brexit and stuff, prohibiting players to go away. But I think it's beneficial, but it can be, there are ups and downs to it. But obviously you've seen with me and Adam Murphy and stuff like that moving away as well at 18. Like, it's actually beneficial, because you go away and you're kind of, instead of going into an academy, you're going into a first team setup, which is vital at a young age, in my opinion. But yeah, there's plenty of good players across, like, plenty. I think the Irish football is definitely on the rise, like, 100%.
Stuff. We might have Euros trip planned sometime.
That'd be class. I forgot all about that, the Brexit rule. What way does it work exactly? You can't go to England now until you're 18? You can't go until
you're 18, but, like, I think if you have, like, a parent or something that's English, there's ways, like, that you can go around it. But if not, you can't go until you're 18 now. That's how it is, like.
And it's just to England, is it, the 18? Or
just to England. You can go to Europe and stuff, but just to England, like.
Yeah, because you've seen a lot of Irish players go to, like, Syria.
No, you can go to Europe,
Did it, because, like, I'm just assuming here, but, like, given the kind of profile you had at such a young age, had the Brexit rule not been in place, you probably would have went to England a lot sooner. Do you look back and be like, oh, I wish I had went over sooner, or are you happy with how it turned out? Yeah,
I'm delighted. Like, the experiences I had playing in the League of Ireland are unbelievable. Like, I wouldn't trade them for anything. Like, I'm delighted the way it went. Was how it was supposed to be. So, yeah.
Sick.
Lovely. I only have one last question.
Go for it. I might have one after you, but
the question is in relation to advice for any younger lads, girls, whoever, who may be watching this, especially in the football world, but maybe outside of football too, who want to progressed at the rate you've progressed at and reached those goals and dreams, what advice would you give to them?
I think it's just to work as possibly hard as you can every day, but still remember to enjoy it, because I think if you get too caught up in that at the same time, you can kind of, I've seen it happen a lot of times, you can kind of drag away from it. So I think work as hard as you can, and always remember to enjoy football as well, because that's what football is for people's enjoyment, the players and fans and everyone else watching. And embrace the setbacks and embrace the comebacks. Like, once there's a setback, it means there's going to be a comeback. So as you said earlier on, never get too low with the lows and never get too high with the highs, and always just keep a steady balance. And if you put your mind to it, you can go anywhere you want to go.
Nice. I have one last question. It's probably a bit of an unfair one, but we might like clip this in 20 years from now and look back and be like, you got it right.
Yeah.
You're only at the like kind of very start of your career, really, but if you think 30, 40, 50 years down the line, when you're finished playing football, if everything goes to plan, how would you like to be remembered?
It's a good question, man. It's a good question. To be honest, I'd like to be remembered as someone who always gave 100%, like the whole time, like even no matter what the situation was or how things were going, I just always gave it my all and put my heart and soul into it, and just wanted to like a happy person as well, and on and off the pitch, and like be perceived as that, and a humble person as well, I'd like to think. But definitely someone who always gives it his all. Like, I think that's such an important thing, and I think like a lot of people now can give it their all one game, and in the next game they're just kind of in the background. Like, as you said, gonna make plenty of mistakes. I've made them. I'm gonna make plenty more. Like, but still, at the end of the day, like, all you can do in football is because you're gonna have off days. All you can do in football is just give it your 100%, and that's what I want to be known by.
Yeah, well, you've been doing it so far, so just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, please God, man.
Sam, man, thanks for your time, for giving up some of your precious time away from football to come.
Thank you, guys.
Sit with us. Have a great off season. Enjoy it, and I can't wait to see you back in action again in the new season.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.